Hi, it's me. In 2014, scientists in Spain made an incredible discovery. They found some really old cave art that was created at least 30,000 years ago during the Upper Paleolithic era. And what's amazing about this is that it's some of the oldest figurative artwork ever found, depicting things from the natural world that clearly have a human-like form. We can see these figures from the prehistoric past, their bodies, their faces, their expressions, their body language. It's all there. But recently, scientists used new technology to look at these cave paintings, and they found something else, something hidden within the paintings, something surprising. You're probably wondering what it could possibly be. Well, if you look closely at the paintings, if you know what to look for, you can see that there are tiny little handprints left behind by the artists who made them. These handprints were almost invisible to the naked eye, but with the help of ultraviolet light, scientists were able to bring them to life, so to speak, to make them more visible. But what's really interesting is that these handprints don't match up with the hands of the figures that we see painted. For example, if we take a close look at one of the figures, we can see that it has 4 fingers, just like us. But then when we look at the handprint right here, we see that it actually has 5, just like a human hand. The same goes for this painting over here. This figure also has 4 fingers, but look at the handprint right here. It has 5 fingers. Now, to be fair, we can't know for sure that these handprints were left behind by actual humans. Maybe whoever or whatever created these paintings had 5-fingered hands, but I highly doubt that. There are other examples of similar handprints found throughout the caves of Europe. And if you look at them under UV light, they also have 5 fingers, just like ours. And not only that, but sometimes they even have fingernails. This is pretty shocking because most anthropologists believe that modern humans, Homo sapiens, didn't evolve until around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Of course, anatomically modern humans did migrate out of Africa and eventually make their way into Europe sometime before 30,000 years ago. But our ancestors definitely weren't there 30,000 years ago. So who could have left these handprints? Well, the Neanderthals. That's who. Scientists already know that Neanderthals had the ability to create some pretty amazing works of art. In fact, some scientists even think that they were the ones who created these cave paintings. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how they could possibly prove this, but apparently they're working on it. Of course, just because Neanderthals had the ability to create such artwork doesn't mean that they did. So, what do these handprints tell us? Well, at the very least, they tell us that someone other than Homo sapiens was creating cave art. And since the Neanderthals were the only other human species living in Europe at the time, it makes sense that they would have been the artists. But personally, I'm hoping that scientists will be able to use these handprints to prove once and for all that the Neanderthals were the ones who created these amazing pieces of art, who created these stories on the walls of caves, stories about animals, about hunting, maybe even stories about their everyday lives. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And as always, thanks for watching.